welcome to my show. Today we are going to uncover Petra. In my last video I talked about this ancient race of cave dwellers, the Horites, Horites, Horim in Hebrew in the Old Testament, an old race living in Mount Seir. Petra location. We are going to uncover now how the Nabateens, after the Edomites, added some ornamentation to some temples, like the treasury here. See how small I am compared to it. And now, before Petra, let's have a little bath in Wadi Musa spring close by. Here's a video.
Enjoy.
Hello, this is Musa Spring. Thanks to my friend.
Welcome. Enjoy.
And we are in the bath. And what's your name?
My name is Ali.
Ali, okay.
Yes. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. My name is Hugo. As you could tell, it was plenty to enjoy in the Wadi Musa spring. This is me drinking water. Before eating Petra, this is Mount Seir in the Bible, in the Toher, in the Old Testament. You can listen to some birds. Filming. Seeing Petra. Kingdom of Jordan. So this made me think of old civilization work that you can see around the world. You can have a pause. I'm gonna see. You have Peru, Bolivia, Petra, Israel, Cambodia, and more, and all those represent the same kind of shapes. I explored some in the Middle East this year. This is what seems a cave and some bedrock cut, tool marks. There you have a beautiful picture of Bedouins with the donkey and the old temple I was talking about. Those blocks are very much more ancient than the Nabateens. In fact, it is the work of an ancient civilization, a lot of different civilization in Petra. The one I could acknowledge of was the Horites of the Old Testament. Some maybe old idols of old civilization. I'm going to share some picture of all of that for you. Those blocks are much more ancient than what they tell us on the site. The only date of all the construction would have been made by the Nabateens only, which is totally false. We are going to see a door. There is a lot of blocks. The ceiling, we are blocked to access some places. It's occupied, most of them, even by donkeys or others. You are going to see after some tunnels. It's always interesting to imagine that a lot is buried under the sand. So that explains a lot in Petra. And the weathering on such buildings that you are going to see in the next video and this one are proof of ancient cataclysm. That it's very much more ancient than only the Nabateens. Or perhaps some cataclysm event happened after. This is what they say about the gene blocks, Nabateens, it's not true. I believe it's much more ancient than that. And to be honest, it was a pleasure to be here. Absolutely amazing, fascinating, and I'm not even inside Petra already, I'm outside of Petra. You have to go through the path, very narrow path, or protecting the city. Absolutely amazing tool marks of megaliths cut like walls in the bedrock all around Petra like this. Some technology the Nabateens surely didn't have. So why is it so much cover up in history wherever you go? From ancient Egypt to Petra, you have always lies. We are not free enough to even be close to prove what I'm saying, but I found evidence in the Old Testament about some old races of cave dwellers named the Horites. That's why I talk about them. After came the Edomites, but maybe some even more ancient race lived in Petra before. Perhaps the Horrites in their peak of civilization, but perhaps and they are more developed before in the Noah's days in the ancient world. That's very interesting. In the days of Atlantis, very, very interesting, all of this. We can call them the Horites, but perhaps in the Atlantis days they were called a different name, ancient race. I will do a podcast about them. This is my friend in front of the temple. Absolutely amazing site, Petra. You can see as the weathering, it's amazing. You can see some cataclysmic event that took place here. Very, very precise tool marks and tombs for ancient race of people. That what is not told in Petra. In my last video about Little Petra, I explain about them in the description, you can see that. This is my new video about Petra. The entry of Petra, look at the pyramids there, it's absolutely amazing. That's my friend again, with the very weathered tombs of very precise work. This is me. Very weathered. Made me think even if it was underwater for a while. Very, very precise work. Look at the tool marks that you can find around the world. Here on the left and everywhere. They were cutting like this, but it's not chisels. It's much more advanced technology to cut some hard rock like this. Petra, which is a hardness from 7 to 10, the quartzite, sandstone, which is not that soft, like they like to say. Look at some deity, maybe perhaps from Nabateens. A lot of work has been added by the Nabateens, but the more primitive tool marks and idols are from other culture that was living in houses like this, perhaps. This is me filming around. With my jalabia. It was very hot, so you have to protect your head for sun inflammations. But basically, megalith tool marks are everywhere. If you like this kind of stuff, you need to see Petra. This is a very cute dog that has experienced some crazy adventures. Tough life in the desert. This is the entrance. I wonder how deep that is. They put a door, perhaps it's a tunnel, you know. This is on top of very old colonization, some blocks that the Bedouins call the jinn blocks with spirits. This is a very cute cat, and me cuddling him or her. Very, very pretty cat. You are going to see some old colonization and the different sorts of work done. Some are more recent and some are more ancient. The more basic ones are ancient, and the one with the little blocks you see on the left are more recent one, perhaps the Nabateens. You can also know that Julius Caesar, the Romans, made some pavement on the road to walk on. That's interesting, but will be hard to take that off to see what's underneath. So that's the, I believe, one colonization of the first civilization. It really looked like Mars, this place, that was it was chosen. Look at the bedrock is cut like it's a wall. There it's stairs, like you can see. And there is like walls cut into the bedrock. Absolutely fascinating where you are interested into this stuff. Some colonization that has been repaired over time. This is the door of Petra. Absolutely amazing. All that carved out of the wall on your right. And you can see the tool marks, everything. It's absolutely fascinating. And even on the left, it looks like it's man-made cut. With, of course, ancient technology. Too immense work to have been done just by the Nabateens with the technology known. Look at the definition, even if it's weathered, you can see that it's great work of different civilization. Very interesting sites. One of the most interesting sites for archaeological research, personal research. So you could see it's absolutely cut inside the wall. This is the colonization. It's very tall. You imagine yourself on top of all of this and looking at us, but from the top. I reckon this is a good place for hikers. If any subscriber is a hiking fan, I reckon in Wadi Rum, in Petra, there is a lot of spots to do so on this very, very, very hard sandstone with millions of years. This is a bit of a group photo. And you can see around the place. Some spirits, perhaps, in the bedrock. You can see whatever you like once again. Amazing shots I'm taking right now, working through. This is a wall that has been added, but the bedrock looks like it's carved out by older civilization. I'm not talking about the wall. It's absolutely amazing. We were there about 12, I think, or more early in the morning, to have the best enjoyment of the day, because it's very huge site, so you need to get ready to rumble. Oh, I see some forms that are interesting. Very beautiful scenery, in fact, which is Petra. And it's very narrow, like you can tell. Very, very narrow. Like some sort of protection. If you are an army, try to invade this. If the resistance is opponent, then it will be very hard to invade them. But in fact, I think people who occupy the place have been invaded many times. But still, it's very narrow path to go through. Some damages that have been repaired. You are going to see absolutely fascinating footage in the next video about Petra. This is me inside the very path that I'm talking about. Me again. Some shots I'm taking. Some old, I believe, deity carved into the temple, carved into the bedrock. From any geologist, it's also very interesting to be there. Any archaeologist, any geologist. Some confirm that the sandstone is more of a quartzite sandstone. It's not that soft, so it gives to wonder why would be so much cover up in history. Because when you dig a bit with yourself and around, you found out that the history is not that what is told to us. It's even more interesting to travel and you to see by yourself. I reckon Petra is a must. I really wonder what it looks like when you're on the top. That it's the little temple I was talking about. Maybe very old. Maybe not the Nabateens. We are almost entering the treasury. It is very fast. Look like it was destroyed, but like it's some ancient civilization door. Very interesting picture there. This is me in my jalabia, checking me out. I think I look quite well for a French. Hey, look at this. Absolutely amazing. From a movie of science fiction, which is Petra, by the way. You feel like it's a place you want to go back. It's not a place you can leave and say like, okay, I was there once. Now you want to go back. It's absolutely amazing, Jordan. I personally love the desert. Like, it's very clean, I find. Look like what is a menorah, a old one, of course. So me, the beautiful scenery, beautiful rock formation, absolutely amazing. Stay with me in a beautiful video of Petra. I will do a part 2 because I've got too much footage, and we're gonna do by part because I really want to show you everything so you have the same view that I had in Petra. Some cave and some stairs, very interesting. Some temple, carved out of the mountain. Everything is just literally carved out of the mountain. That's what is just amazing. The whole complex is like this. Amazingly beautiful Petra. We are in the Sig, almost arriving to Petra. Look at this very cave in the mountain. I was saying that we are closely arriving to the treasury. That some work has been added by the Nabateens. And that's a fantastic work. It's made by the help of the Greeks or the Philistines. The Phoenicians and the Greeks helped the Nabateens to do the ornentation. Philistine is another story, were giants like Goliath. That was the cave, very narrow. Everything is very narrow. We are going through this passage. The entrance of Petra. Very excited I was. Everything is so narrow and small. Protection for enemies, I reckon. This block is funny, very nicely. We are at the back, at the almost the end of the Sig. I decided to film everything so you can have the same experience that I had. So they explained that the Romans did the roads that we were walking on. Me in the sceneries of what the Sig has to offer. This is part 1 of Petra. In the description you can find information about. There you can see some idols from ancient times. They explain that is the Nabateens. Everything is the Nabateens. I put those images so you can see, but it doesn't really make sense. It's not only the Nabateens. How the whole mountain is just carved out of the mountain is just fascinating. That made a good picture. That's the way you have. Same, some carving into the mountain. This is me. A beautiful picture. Going to the sea, through the sea, to see this treasury, of course. That's why you're all here and you're listening to this video. As my camera offers 4K video resolution, I decided to share you the whole trip, so you can already see everything. I put the video, the pictures. There are more idols of, I believe, not the Nabateens, with always the tool marks about. Simply interesting. Interesting. It's really worth to go to Petra if you're interested by archaeology. I say it once again. Look at what's around you in the video. It's absolutely amazing. The region is simply amazing. That's funny. The wall. Actually, the wall is cut out of the mountain. Some megalith work here, but also some Nabateens made a bridge. So you have proof everywhere that is not only the Nabateens' work, it's also the work of the possible ancient race, more ancient race. He's explaining somehow why does it look like holes. Honestly, I don't really know, so I don't want to say nonsense. But on the treasury there is bullet holes, that's for sure. The Bedouin thought that there was gold in the treasury and somehow shot it at it. Look at how the mountain sometimes seems cut out. We are now very close to the sea, to the end of the sea, to see the treasury. This is what I was talking about. Megalith work and Nabateens work, or edomites. The idols and the tool marks. Interesting. Very narrow. with my little group. We are heading to the treasury now. You can see it at the back. It was a long way to go already, but what's after? Most people arrive to the treasury and leave, but what's after the treasury is immense. It's huge. That's why I'm going to do many videos of Petra, not just one. By respect to the site. Many dogs, camels share the light with the Bedouins. Okay, so this is some work of the Nabateens with the help of the Greeks or the Phoenicians. Look at how it's big, immense. The original tombs are made by ancient culture. A lot is underneath. And somehow this year you couldn't access to the big tomb. You can just stand where I was now. And the destruction is also due to bullet holes to the site, like I explained earlier. The original cut of the mountain tombs are from ancient race of people, but this is made up by the Nabateens with the help of the Phoenicians and the Greeks to achieve some beautiful work like this. Architecture of Tartary Atlantis, and what is underneath is huge. I'm very curious, but you couldn't go. But inside this there is footage on the internet. It's just 2 tombs and 1 big void. So this is the work I was talking about. Very interesting. Huge pillars. Of course, everything is carved out of the mountain. That's what it's very, very interesting. You should watch the work of Brian Foster also. I share on my description. So there you could see some megalith work, and what is underneath this cave is amazing. This dog bring me to the top. Look how cute it was. It actually followed me to the top. Hey boy. Hello. And there is the Nabatean temple, the treasury. Some work has been added. They had some work to do that took them some time. But I think it was already something before that. Like, I think the temple was already there, but they just added some annotation, but that's what I chose to believe. Very cute dog. You can see. Chilling. Look at his eyes. The dog you want to bring home. But I can't really have a dog right now. This is my friend. And I'm almost saying bye to the dog, but it was so cute. Dog of the desert of Jordan. Interesting. We decided to climb to the top. Look at the precision and the symmetry of it. It's just amazing work. I let you enjoy it. And we say goodbye to the good dog. Really, that's the best dog. I really like dogs like this. Good spirit. Maybe they added the stairs on the wall to do the ornamentation. This is some temple. A lot is underneath the sand. Everything is cut out of the mountain for real. You can see. On the left, you can see the tool marks of ancient technology. Those temples were already here. The ornamentation could have been added. Look at this megalith block. And inside this temple that was down, I filmed a little bit. It's huge. It's just big. Absolutely huge. That proves that a lot is underneath. It's not just the Nabateens. Everything was just there before. They just found the place, added some ornamentation at some places, but could not have done the whole stuff. I'm now going up. Tool marks everywhere. Stairs cut out of the mountain. And it's just amazing. Amazing scenery. You are going to see this cave inside of it, very well preserved. In fact, you can see the beautiful weathering main side. How nice that is. Beautiful colors. This is inside of it. The weathering, proof of ancient cataclysm that heated the place with some direct energy weapon, perhaps. And this is the temple. I'll show you inside. What is underneath is just immense. Big, in fact. There you could also see, cut in the mountain, some work from ancient civilization, of course. Donkey, friendly donkey. Seemed that he was punished because he was on the side. Poor fella. And there we have more work into the mountain carved out. The ancient cataclysm are everywhere. Look at that, destroyed. Everything was destroyed there. Absolutely amazing work. Still you can see the tool marks. This is me accessing after the treasury. On the right for those who went there. This is almost the end of part 2. I'm making small videos like vlogs, so you can really enjoy what I have to say without spending too much time on it. The Nabatean structure, what they added is beautiful, but what has done the oldest civilization is even more amazing. Sometimes the rock is cut, like you see on the left. It's cut out of the mountain in a way that is so precise. And what is underneath is fascinating. You can see a lot is buried under the sand. Like this, you know, the door perhaps is more big. There you have the idols of more older civilization. Some colors and gold. Inside of a cave. Perhaps tombs or portals. Some more inscriptions, some beautiful colors, and everything is cut out perfectly of the mountain and suffered from cataclysmic events that heated the place. Perhaps even was underwater sometimes, at some point in the history. This is what you find. A lot is underneath me. Under the ground. Look at this. Very beautiful work. And a connection with other sites in the world is bluffing when you have the eyes for it. There you can see inside another one. The toolmarks in the tombs are a very good way to picture how they even made those. The weathering, look at that. It looks like it was burned. Not only underwater, but also burned out. I believe it was already there in Sodom and Gomorrah's days. Look at this destroying. Whoa. This is destroyed. Absolutely messed up. But still fascinating. So you can join me in my next video where I will uncover what is next to see, you're gonna see next, and you are going to enjoy the part 2 of Petra next. Before I'm going to Amsterdam for a while. I just come back from the Middle East. Sometime it was very tense, and I want to go to Amsterdam, maybe take a few shots there. And this is what you are going to see in the next video, because I really love archaeology, and this is what I'm doing right now. Look at those tombs. Look at the amount of tombs that we are going to see in part 2 of my next video. It's absolutely huge. Petra, you are going to see also the high place of sacrifice that is definitely not made by the Nabateens. You are going to see a pyramid that is carved out of the mountain, and that is going to be it for today. But this pyramid is carved out of the mountain. I repeat, you have to cut out the mountain around to do the pyramid. It's not the artificial one, it's natural pyramid cut up the mountain. Look at that. There is 2 of them. This is the highest place of sacrifice. That's proof there is other technology and other civilization. Absolutely remarkable.